Hello, everyone, and welcome to Game of Drams, Australia's first ever virtual whiskey game show. It's, of course, all about the whiskey, even the points don't matter. As usual, my name is Ben. I will try my best to be your host tonight, and this month is special because we are celebrating the lifting of COVID restrictions in Victoria. All three of our contestants are from Melbourne. Big celebrations. We have David Vitale, founder of Starward, Emma Cookson from Whisky Alement, and Ren Butler, founder of the Whisky Social works. The Whisky Lists, Oliver will be running the show, streaming live to you all at home as always. Now, there are a few categories this evening. The first is a whiskey quiz. Don't worry, it's all multiple choice, but as usual, I expect we're all still going to get the answers wrong. However, before we get ahead of ourselves, it's time to have a chat to our contestants and get them to pick their buzzers. David, great to have you on the show, mate. What is your buzzer tonight?
Well, in honor of my outfit, it's exotic.
Exotic. I love it. And the outfit looks beautiful. I was wondering if your buzzer was going to be my whiskey is Dan Andrews' top shelf liquor, but that does seem really long. So exotic, I think we'll go with that. A little bit long. Emma, welcome aboard. What is your buzzer for tonight?
Thank you. Well, my favorite Scottish Gaelic word, geary, has to be geary. So.
Eerie? Sounds good to me. I won't be able to say it all night long, but you're the only one who needs to do so. And last but not least, Ren, what will your buzzer be for this evening?
I'm embracing my true inner nerd, and it will be phenols.
Awesome. All right. Fantastic. Looks like we are good to go. You can, of course, join along at home as usual. Try and stump the team. Simply type your answers in the chat, and David will be the final judge and scorekeeper as usual. It says he's got a clipboard and stopwatch. I'm not even sure what he's doing, but normally the answers and the numbers that he gives us for scores kind of match up with the numbers that I throw out for points. So hopefully he will be able to verify the answers after each question. So without anything further, let's play round one of Game of Drams. Again, this one is going to be multiple choice. I'll read through the question. They'll pop up on the screen, and feel free to buzz in at any point with your buzzer. If you get the answer right, you get points. If you get the answer wrong, you lose points. If you pick the same wrong answer I would have picked, you lose a lot of points. So it's a fun game. All right, question number one. Peter Bignell at Belgrove in Tasmania uses sheep manure as fuel for drying his barley. A distillery in which other country uses the same technique? Is it A, Sweden, B, Switzerland, C, Iceland, or D, Denmark?
Exotic.
David, what do you think it is?
I'm going to go with Sweden.
Going to go with Sweden. That one is incorrect. I would give you points for going first, but I can only take points, so -3. Sweden is not there. Emma, I heard a geary come in. You've got 3 to pick from. Which one do you think?
I think it's Floki Distillery in Iceland.
That is correct. And not only is it correct, but yes, you got the distillery, or at least the whiskey right, David. I don't know how to say it. Imberg, who makes Floki. Is that what it sounds like?
No idea. My Icelandic is pretty rusty, but definitely it is the Floki whiskey.
Oh, awesome. I'm going to give you 3 points for getting it right and 3 points for getting Floki right. So that's a great start. I'm worried that we actually have people on the show tonight who know whiskey. This could be a little bit of a problem. All right, question 2. It's real rough. It's real rough when everyone knows the answers. Bill Samuels Jr. of Maker's Mark fame was once the driver for which famous Kentucky personality? Was it A, George Garvin Brown, founder of Brown Foreman? Is it B, Colonel Harlan Saunders, better known as the founder of KFC? Is it C, Alban Barkley, Vice President of the United States of America? Or is it D, the real Abraham Lincoln, President of the USA?
Exotic.
David.
I don't
Who
know
knows?
why, but I just went with B.
You went with B. You picked Colonel Sanders from
Wow.
KFC. Does that sound like this? Well, it's right. So congratulations. I don't know if it sounds right, but it is correct. Somehow, somewhere, he was a driver for Colonel Sanders. Whiskey show, David. Really? Are you sure? That sounds absurd.
No, it is exactly absurd, and he credits the Colonel for teaching him his work ethic. What I didn't realize is that Colonel is an honorary title in Kentucky, as
Right.
it's almost it's a Kentucky knighthood. He was not a colonel
Someone
in
who
the
makes
army.
good chicken, or
Pretty much. But
Pretty
yep, it is Colonel Sanders.
well, there you go. Well, that's a good guess. You got it right. I'll give you 4 points, David. Well done. Going well, going strong, right off the marks. Might even be back to 0. That's what we like to see. Question number 3. After Prohibition ended, 69-year-old James B. Beam got his distillery up and running in how many days? Is it A, 120, B, 36, C, 150, or D, 10?
Geary?
Emma?
Who knows?
I think it's D. I think he got it up running super quick.
Well, I'm going to hit the buzzer. I wasn't going to answer that, but 10 sounds absurd. Like, I guess it's possible, but it's entirely wrong. So, -3 points. D is not the answer. Ren, I heard you buzz in there. Is it A, B, or C, do you reckon?
I'm going to go with B. 36.
B. 36 is also incorrect. -2 points for you, unfortunately, Ren. David, you've got a shot. It's 50-50. Is it A, 120, or C, 150?
He's 69 years of age. I'm going to do 150.
150. It was a 50-50, and you got the wrong 50, David, unfortunately. The wrong 50. -4 points for that one, because you could have guessed it, but apparently the answer is A, 120. So, David, it took him about 4 months.
And considering that distilleries were closed for at least around about 13 years from Prohibition, that's not bad going. I think distilleries coming out of mothballs take a lot longer nowadays. So I think that was pretty impressive.
It was pretty impressive, unlike the answers we gave.
I totally would love to actually this one, but I know we need to move on because they weren't fully mothballed. There was still some medicinal trade.
Of course. Yeah.
Oh, give it. You can have a well, actually. I'll give you a 1 point for a well, actually. There you go. We'll start climbing back up the chain. I'm here to help you out, Ren. Don't you worry. All right. Round number 2 is called Yeah or Nah. Dave, before we jump into this one, what are our scores looking like?
Well, Ren, with that little bonus point, sneaks up to -1. David's on -3 after briefly being positive, and Emma's on +3.
+3. All right. Look, it's a decent spread so far, and everyone's still in the game. And this round number 2, plenty of time to make back, plenty of points on the board here. It's called Yeah or Nah. As I said, in this round, I will give each contestant an opportunity to tell us a memorable whiskey tale, after which I'll ask our other 2 contestants to decide whether the story is true or a complete whiskey-fueled fabrication. Emma, I will start with you. Give us your Yeah or Nah story.
All right. So about 6 or 7 years ago, I was in Scotland for the first and so far only time ever. And I was staying in a hostel on the high street. And I thought, well, I'm in Scotland. There's 2 things I have to do and have to get. One is whiskey and the other is a woolly jumper. So, I'm walking up and down. And at this point, I didn't drink whiskey. I was like, I've worked in too many nightclubs. I think it's terrible, before I learnt the ways. So I'm walking.
-4 points for not drinking whiskey. That's an official negative there. I can't look. It's there. Those are the rules, Emma. Anyway, sorry. Keep going. Tell us your story. Sorry.
So I walk down and I pop into the first whiskey shop I see, and I'm like, all right, I buy I buy a couple of bottles and whatnot, and I leave. And 6 years later, I'm working at Whisky and Alement, and they're like, yeah, the Cadenheads bottle shop on High Street. And I was like, what? What do you mean? There's a bottle shop for Cadenheads on High Street? And they're like, yeah. And I'm looking it up. I'm like, oh my God, did I go into Cadenheads with no idea where I was or the sacred nature of this shop? And so, the bottles that I bought there are very special to me, and I'll never forget that. But I will never stop kicking myself that I had no idea what Cadenheads was, what Springbank was, what whiskey was when I went years and years ago.
It sounds like a very convincing story, to be honest. So, David and Ren, this one's over to you now. Does that sound like a real story? Was Emma really not into whiskey? Did she really go to this amazing store and not realize it? Or is she just making it up?
I don't know. I mean, Emma just seems too genuine to tell a lie anyway, right? So this could be a big shock if you're calling it.
Yeah, I'm calling it because I do believe that Emma had a period where, between her adolescence and her whiskey genius, current phase. However, I'm calling nah on it because you're super switched on and just a curious, smart person. So you would have walked in and been like, what is this magic? And started asking questions and absorbed it from there. So I'm voting nah.
All right, I'm going with you, Ren. Don't let me down.
All right, we're saying it is nah, that maybe it was, you're just making it up, Emma. Is it a yeah or is it a nah?
It is actually a nah, but not for the reasons you think. It was not Cadenheads. I looked it up and it was actually just a small little random whiskey shop. I popped in, was like, everything's expensive, bought 2 miniatures and got the hell out.
Well, there we go. So Ren was actually pretty spot on, said you probably would have noticed if it was something other than that. So
I'm shattered. Like I thought, just the want of truth and knowledge now.
Yeah, I was convinced. It sounded so disappointed that you didn't realize what it was. But nevertheless, they got it
very
right.
Convincing.
Yeah, it was very convincing.
There's a bit of truth in the lie.
Yeah, exactly right. So unfortunately for you, Emma, it means we're going to go -5 points because they got that one for you. Ren, we're going to go across to you. What is your yeah or nah story?
Okay, so mine is also in Scotland. It wasn't that long ago, but it was when I was, my first and so far only, sadly, time in Scotland. I had a whirlwind week there where I crammed in more distilleries and a cooperage than is probably healthy. Did not drink drive, though. Was hungover a lot. And in my last hour in Scotland, right before I had to grab the night train down to London to fly back here, I very hastily met up with an old friend from many jobs ago at the Pot Still. Everyone told me I had to go to the Pot Still. So I met up with my friend at the Pot Still and super surprised because she didn't even know I was in town earlier that day and all the country. And then just as I was getting ready to order us our last round, she doesn't normally drink whiskey, but she had 1 or 2 with me to be a good sport. And just as I'm going up to order my last round, literally in Scotland, I notice that, they asked me where I'm from, funny accent and everything. I'm like, I'm American, but I'm technically from Melbourne. And they're like, oh yeah, what's it like there? And I'm like, oh, we actually do have whiskey in Australia. We make some really good whiskey in Melbourne even. And I looked at the very, very top edges of the back bar, and sure enough, just on the top left shelf, there was a bottle of Starward. And I made them get the ladder and go bring down the bottle of Starward, and nobody in the bar knew what it was or where it came from. And I basically gave them a 3-minute primer on what Starward is and what it's about and how to pitch it to Scottish patrons, or British ones for that matter. And yeah, they were kind of annoyed at first, but by the end of it, they were, getting along with it and really liked the whiskey.
Did you drink some, Ren? Did you drink some of the Starward?
Of course.
So you went to Scotland and you drank Starward.
Yep.
I love it. It's
I do that all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? Okay, all right. Dave and Emma,
I
what
swear
do you
I'm
think?
not a plant.
Is it a yeah or a nah?
Well, I mean, it's every Melburnian's duty when overseas to spot Starward on the shelf and do a mini masterclass. So if it's a nah, I'll be really disappointed.
I feel like I know when I'm overseas that something I've done is I'm like, do you know what that is? And they're like, no, please tell us. But I don't know. Like, you didn't let your friend know that you were in Scotland? I'm like,
That's a good point.
I love how you go back to something from like 5 minutes ago in the story, and that's the one thing that you're grabbing onto. What do we think?
Yeah.
Sasha in chat says it's true. Dave and Emma, is it a yeah or a nah?
So I think
Sasha's guessing. He didn't actually know me that well back then.
I think the gist of the story is true, but there's probably a detail or two that's wrong. It wasn't the pot still. There you go. What do you reckon, Emma?
I don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards a yeah.
Well,
Only because that's like the kind of thing. Don't rub your hands like that. Don't change my mind.
We're doing a countdown. You guys are running out of time.
I want to believe it's true. Does that count?
Right.
So you're going for yeah?
I want to believe it's true as well.
Yeah.
All right. So is that a yeah? I'm going to lock it in. Lock it in, Eddie. Ren, is it a yeah or a nah?
Oh, are we lost? Oh,
We're back.
It's true.
It's true.
Every detail. Almost missed my train.
Oh, what a good story. But look, they had faith that that's exactly what you would do when you're in Scotland, Ren. So look, that's what's cost you today, them having faith in you and the fact that you would give that Starward masterclass. So unfortunately, -5 points to you, Ren. But I'll give you +3 for going out there and selling the Aussie whiskey to the world. So well done. All right, Dave, over to you. You're the last cab off the rank. What is your yeah or nah story?
So I'm in the States. I moved here last year, and on one of my trips down to LA, I was actually in a restaurant selling the buyer on Starward, and as you do, it's part of my job anyway. I'm there doing my little spiel, and none other than Gordon Ramsay walks past.
Oh,
we're actually ranged in his Bread Street Kitchen restaurant in London. It's like the #1 old fashioned on the menu, and he bailed up the buyer and said, "You've got to get this in," which was kind of nice. And then we had a wonderful chat about his trip to Tasmania and meeting Peter Bignell, and it was a lovely afternoon. Made a really good day. Was
he a nice guy in real life?
Lovely guy. Really, really nice.
I must admit, my Facebook feed is now whiskey and snippets of 3-minute segments from Hell's Kitchen. And I don't know, but that's the algorithm, and it's got me, and I love it. So I like this story already, Dave, but Emma and Ren, what do you reckon? Is this a yeah or a nah? Which part of it's true? Did you really meet Gordon? Maybe that's false. Maybe he met, I don't know, someone more famous, Jamie Oliver. Who knows? What do we reckon?
I don't know. From what I know, Gordon Ramsay does have a couple restaurants in Los Angeles and that are quite successful. And I imagine he would be in America a lot for filming. So that's not inconceivable.
Not inconceivable.
Yeah, and I have heard that he is actually a really lovely guy, that the whole persona on screen is just that for entertainment's sake. So there's no individual factoids that I can pull apart in that one.
He seems nice in the old episodes, by the way. Just going to chip that in there. If you go back and watch episode 1 of the British version, he's a lovely guy. But only in America, he must hate Americans. I don't know.
It's what we expect. British people are supposed to be arrogant and jerks.
Makes sense to
'Cause
me.
they
So what
spend
do
so much time in queues.
does that mean you guys think it's a yeah?
I'm leaning towards a yeah. But they would
I'm going to go with yeah, because there's a lot of very specific details in there that empirically check out.
It is
can't-
still
I
a
can't
short
say no.
story, though. It's not fleshed out, but I imagine you wouldn't flesh out a trying to a sales trip down to LA.
It was in Venice Beach.
That's still LA.
Yeah, same.
All right, we're
Orange
locking in.
County.
We're locking in. Yeah, then we're
Yes.
saying yes, it happened. Dave, is it true? Don't ruin my dreams. Did you really meet Gordon Ramsay?
I did meet Gordon Ramsay, but I approached him. He didn't approach us.
Oh,
That seems like
That's,
semantics to me.
that feels like semantics to me. I'll give you 1 point, Dave. It was a good story, but I guess it happened, but it didn't happen in the way that you said it. All right, I'll give you 1 point towards it. I liked your story earlier about the Foo Fighters. That was much better. Shame that we wasted it. That would have been a good one.
Yeah. That was a
Oh,
good
the Killers.
story.
Yeah, that other band. Yeah, that's how good my memory is. All right, -1 point to Ben, +1 point to Dave, and David at the end of this round. Where do we sit?
Well, it just shows how quickly the landscape can change in the show. Emma, who was leaping ahead, is now at the bottom with -6. Ren is
no.
-3, and David is leading with -2.
Oh, good. We're all in negatives, including me. So this is exactly how Game of Drams is supposed to go. Glad we're back on track. No one doing too well. That's the plan. All righty. So after that, let's move across. Round 3 is called Anagrams. What a great name for a round. In this round, we will show you an anagram of a well-known distillery, and it's your job to buzz in and work out what distillery it might be. So we'll kick this one off. I'll give you the words first. I'll let someone buzz in. If no one knows what it is, I might give you a clue if you're really lucky, and we'll see how you go. So, Anadram, number 1, merging alone.
Gary.
Did you forget your buzzer, Gemma?
Yes. Is it Glenmorangie?
It is Glenmorangie.
Oh, well
Congratulations. +3 points. That's a good one. I'll give you a clap for that one. Good job. Merging alone, Glenmorangie. Well done. All right. Question number 2. Acrid Child Hub.
Gary?
Smart.
Is that Brookladdy?
It is Brookladdy. I'll give you another 3 points. This
I'll
seems
skip
to
the
be
next one.
Okay, this is
your
not
round.
fair.
Is this, have you been
David,
studying?
worth it
I
now.
don't know. Is this,
I was always good at logic puzzles as a child, and
Great.
it seems to have stuck with me.
all right. Okay.
Emma, we spent about 2 days coming up with these, and you're answering.
Absolutely
I'm a mess.
destroying them. Absolutely.
Reputation, Emma.
I'll give it. I'll wait a few minutes for the next one. How's
We
that?
can call on Emma for the next episode.
Yeah, this round won't be there though. That's for sure. If she's back on, that's what I'm gonna say. All right, number 3, fecal gnarls. Does anyone have an idea? Emma, do you know what it is?
No, not at the moment. I'm just ticking through my head. Every
The
time
clue
I read it.
is a family-owned Speyside distillery.
Geary.
Oh,
Is it Glen
Yep.
Farkless?
On Glen
It
Farkless.
is Glen
Yeah.
Farkless. Yeah.
Well done.
All right, now I'm actually
All right.
not going to answer the next one.
I'll
I'm
give
sorry.
everyone a point for that one. I'll give everyone a point. We're slowly moving towards 0. Doing my best. All right. Number 4. Enid Jackals. This one should be easy.
Phenos.
Ren.
Jack Daniels.
It is Jack Daniels. 3 points for you. Congrats. And the last question for this round, number 5, is Forever Redwoods.
Holy cow.
Geary. Woodford
Emma.
Reserve.
Woodford
It
Reserve.
is Woodward Reserve. I'll give you another 3 points for that because you've absolutely smashed the round. That's the end of round 4, I think it is. And David, where are we for points here? Because this is a blowout.
Yeah, it's a complete yo-yo, and I'm shattered. My reputation's in tatters, Emma.
I'm so sorry.
So you're at +4, and Ren is +1, and David is -1.
All right.
Still pretty close.
We're all getting close. Okay, this is going to be a fun one. This is the last one. This is your last chance to get in it. Our final round is Who Am I? We'll give you a series of 10 clues about a particular distillery. At any time, you can buzz in to take a guess. If you are right, you get lots of points. If you are wrong, you lose some points. Wrong guesses at the start aren't so bad, and right guesses after question 1 award a ton of points. But obviously, the more clues we give you and you get it wrong, the more points you lose, and vice versa. If you're up to clue 10 and you finally get it right, I might give you 1 point. So we'll see how we go.
Is this Sale of Century rules, or like, can you hop in again?
We're not playing Boomer rules, no. You can hop in again. So,
Okay.
no. I must admit, I haven't watched Sale of Century in a very long time, but I think if we had that rule, Dave, we would get to like the 4th one, and then everyone would be out, and then I don't even know what happens then. So it's fine. Let's go. All right. I am located on an island off the coast of Scotland. I feel like that could be a lot
Too
of
many
distilleries.
choices.
Exotic.
Dave.
Talisker.
It is not Talisker, but I'll only take 1 point off you. Thank you for jumping in at the start. Someone had to do it. All right. Clue number 2. The standard expression in my core range is a 10-year-old release. Yeah, Ren.
Aaron?
It is not Aaron. I'll
Geary?
take 2 off you then. But yes, Emma.
I know.
Is it Lecheg Tobermory?
It is not the words that you just... wait. It is not the first word that you said, but it is the second word that you said. You said too many confusing words in a row, but it is Tobermory. And I'm going to have to give you like 15 points or something because I don't think we've ever had it at question number 3. So I'm just going to give you a big round of applause because it is Tobermory, unless I'm really wrong. But that's what the picture says on the next slide, right, David?
Yep, absolutely. And look, they were going to run out of islands at some point if they kept guessing. But, I thought that the one that Emma would get would be number 7.
I have no idea who the Wombles are
Well, okay. Well,
or what the Wombles are.
What are the Wombles, David?
The Wombles.
Is that show with like the animals that talk or something?
Yes, they clean up Wimbledon Common. You all are far too young.
Right.
Way too
You're going to
young.
have to Google the Wombles. The Wombles theme song. Once you hear it, it will never get out of your head.
Definitely not Googling it then, but thank you for that advice, David. All right, so, yes.
Ben, I think we have a new record holder. Kelvin has been toppled from his crown, and Emma is now the
Emma's
fastest one to get this one right.
smashed it today.
And just to butt in there, both Melbourne-based whiskey aficionados for the record.
Yeah.
Melbourne, the whiskey capital of Australia, maybe.
You said it, Ben.
Look, I'm the only one.
I'm seeing a follow-on event head-to-head. I'd watch that.
Oh yes.
Yeah, going to have to get them both on. But let's go through the points, David. But we all know Emma won. I just want to know how much she won by.
Look, it was really close at the end. David was brought up a valiant 3rd place with -2. We'll put it down to the time difference. Ren on -1, and Emma just ahead on +0.4.
+0.4. All right, I love it.
+0.4.
It's absolutely smashed it. What a good result. Well, congratulations again to Emma for coming out. I'm going to say congratulations to Dave, though, for having the great shirt. I love it.
Yeah.
He's got it coming
should
through
get,
with
like,
the goods.
10 points just for the shirt.
I mean, I thought it would give me a point at least.
Well, you can have a point, and you can come second last now with Ren instead, and you guys can be equal on points together. But let's be real, Emma did smash it tonight. So yeah, I don't think it would have been tough to. I don't know if there's some cheating going on here. I don't know if David's like sneaking in answers or something. But look, I can't doubt he hasn't done it before. I think Emma's just this good. So big congrats to you, Emma, for coming out with the goods, and to Dave and Ren. Thank you very much, of course, for being on the show and sharing your cool stories and having a go at David's silly questions that I certainly didn't know the answers to any of them. So you're doing a much better job than me. Do we have anyone in chat, guys, Ollie, that did pretty well tonight? Anyone playing along? I saw
I think Tim Stein's got a few correct, actually. So Tristan Farmer, we had a few good comments from there as well. But the question that's from the audience asked a few times, what's in everyone's glass?
That's a very good question. What is in everyone's glass? Anyone that's not me, because I don't have one. I just start slurring my words too quickly.
In this glass, I have some Molly Duca Shiraz, because, bloody good wine. We get a lot of their wine barrels to age our whiskey in, so that's fantastic. And in this glass, I have some twofold, because it's easy drinking and I can still half think when I'm drinking it.
I love it. Emma, what did you have? Were you going?
Yeah, I've just got my one whiskey, but I've been drinking the New Sullivan's Cove special release. I don't get to try as many whiskeys as I used to, but sometimes when there's about 5 ml left over in a bottle, it's like, well, we can't sell it, so you take it home.
Oh, look, there's only 29 mils left in that bottle times 5. I guess we're just going to have to share it all. Works for me. Ren, were you on something? Were you drinking along tonight? Did you have wine as well? Or my memory all bad?
No, so I'm drinking out of a wine glass because I need to do dishes. And this is my last glassware. But my new favorite thing now with summer finally coming in here in Melbourne is making a highball with just a splash of the Marionetta blackberry liqueur. So I was drinking a just Irish whiskey highball with a little bit of blackberry in it, and then I switched to one of my standard go-tos, which is Jim Beam rye, because I've got a tasting right after this as well. So I'm trying to just keep my palate not too spoiled.
I love it. I kind of feel like highballs are the savior of summer in Australia if you don't want to drink beer. Sometimes I'm a big fan. Can you even you can't buy a whiskey highball in Australia in a can, right? Not that you would necessarily want to, but what is it? Tell me, please.
You get them at the little Asian supermarkets. If you go to the right ones, you can just get
you're talking
cans.
about like the Suntory ones though, but are they like the Kakubin ones, or are they like the Tories ones where they've added in like fake lemon?
I don't know. I haven't tried them. I know that the shop across the road from work.
All right, guys, I'm just turning this into my own personal Q&A. It's fine. We'll leave it there. Thanks for trying to help, Emma. If someone finds it, if you find a whiskey highball in a can, send Ollie a message, and I'll thank you very much. All right. That is the end of episode 5 of Game of Drams. Thank you very much to Dave and Ren and Emma for all coming on board. I know I don't even know what time it is in Seattle, Dave, but it's obviously not 6 p.m. in the afternoon. So thank you for giving us your time that's not nighttime. And for everyone else, I think we're doing this again very soon, David. Are we announcing yet? Or we do have a December show lined up, however.
Yeah, 15th of December is something really special to look out for. There's been just some clues put out there on the social media chats, but that'll be announced in the next couple of days. So keep a lookout on the Whisky List and Whisky Lovers Australia and the Whisky Show's Facebook pages, and all will be revealed or not.
Awesome. So can't wait to that. Until then, hope everyone has a great time, and we will see you on the 15th of December. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.